Hello everyone, welcome back to the live stream. How are you all? Hi, welcome. Good evening everyone. Welcome. Comes a beautiful name. Hello, how are you? Oh, hi, welcome. What's a good name, dear? Hello, hi, how are you all? Hello, dear Ater. Hi, dear Ater. Here is your beautiful name, Alparslan. Hello, dear Alparslan. Here is your beautiful name. What a unique name you have, dear. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Hi, dear Rifki. Here is yours. Hello, dear Anj. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Alison. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Hello, dear Nadim. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Valdu. Here is yours. How are you, dear Valdu? Thank you. You're most welcome. Hi, dear Jonathan. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Litu. Here is yours. Thank you so much for subscribing. Hi, dear Robia. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Hearty. Here is yours. Hi, dear Kyra. Here is your beautiful name. Hello, dear Vandal. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Don't forget to double tap on your screens to like this live. Hi, dear Odina. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Soham. Here is yours. Hello, dear Han. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Sumer. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Hello, dear Cynthia. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Irene. Here is yours. Good evening. Me, what is your good name? Hello, dear Yukta. Here is your beautiful name. Oh my god, double tap on your screens. Come on. Hello, dear Kiva. Here is yours. Hello, dear Celine. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Hayat. Here is your beautiful name. Guys, double tap on your screens and don't forget to press the subscribe button there. Hello, dear Lily. Here is yours. Hi. Hello. Sorry, guys. Dear Zlata. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Jace. Here is yours. Hello, dear Clara. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Raj Nandini. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. It is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Manifest. Here is your beautiful name. Hello, dear Abdullah. Here is yours. Let's see who is next. Hi, dear Lachu. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Lara. Here is yours. Hi, dear Najakat. Here is your beautiful name. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, dear Isa. Here is yours. Hello, dear Annie. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Ehyan. Here is your beautiful name. Oh, thank you so much for joining, everyone. Hello, dear Ra. Here is yours. Hi, dear Gia. Here is a beautiful name. Hello, dear Sumit. How are you? Hi, welcome. What's a good name? Hello, dear Bilal. Here is yours. Hi, dear Fehmi. Here is your beautiful name. Double tap on your screen, guys. And let's see who is next. Ikra. Hello, dear Ikra. Here is your beautiful name. Thanks, you're most welcome. Hi, dear Ira. Here is yours. Hello, dear Bibi. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Atina. Here is yours. Hi, dear Anurag. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Sally. Here is yours. Hi, dear Rizwan. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Vasi. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, dear Rana. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Mira. Here is yours. Hello, dear Meme. How are you? Hello, dear Sharia. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Samima. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining, dear Samima. Hello, dear Muskan. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Sehrish. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, dear Kevin. Welcome back. How are you? Good day. Hello, dear Lily. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining again. Hi, dear Joy. Here is yours. Hello, dear Khalid. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Sarah. Here is yours. Hello, dear Mirab. How are you? It is a beautiful name. Hello, dear Janvi. Here is yours. Hi, dear Zoe. Here's a beautiful name. Hi, dear Piku. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Twix. Hello, dear Twix. Hi, dear Haya. Welcome back. Yes, I remember you. It is a beautiful name. Thank you so much for joining again. Hi, dear Anthony. Here is your beautiful name. Thank you so much for joining, dear Anthony. Hi, dear Helena. How are you? Thank you so much. Lots of love, dear Kevin. Hi, dear Zara. Hello, dear Helen. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Jasmine. Here is yours. Thank you. Hi, dear Nancy. Here is your good name. Hello, dear Safia. Here is yours. Hi, dear Fawaz. Here is your good name. Hello, dear Celine. Here is yours. Yeah. Hi, dear Ando. Here is yours. Hi, dear Mediha. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Maria. Here is yours. Hi, welcome. Hello, dear Iman. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Ahana. Here is yours. Double tap on your screens to like this live, and don't forget to press the subscribe button there, right there. Hi, dear Tulsi. Here is yours. Safia with double Y. Safia. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining, dear. Thanks for telling me. Okay, let's see who is next. Hi, dear Nils. Here's a good name. We are literally stuck on 17. Come on, double tap on your screens. Hi, dear Safa. Here is yours. Gojo, you are an anime lover. Here is yours. Hi, dear Asma. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Mahmoud. Here is yours. Hello, dear Mubina. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Dua. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Sarah. Here is yours. Hello, dear Payal. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Rehan. Here is yours. Hello, dear Versha. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Amira. Here is yours. Hi, dear Revu. Here is your beautiful name. Lots of love. Thank you so much. Hi, dear Haya. Here is yours. Hello, dear Mariam. Here is a beautiful name. Let's see who is next. Hi, dear Javen. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Rehab. Here is yours. Hello, dear Vedi. Here is your beautiful name. Thank you so much for joining, dear Vedi. Hi, dear Gallus. Here is yours. Hi, dear Ismail. Here is a good name. Oh, you're most welcome. Hi, dear Olivia. Here is yours. Hi, dear Ezra. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Akmal. Here is yours. Hi, dear Eva. Here is your beautiful name. Let's see who is next. Yes, Yash. Hello, dear Yash. Here is yours. Hi, dear Salsabel. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome back. How are you doing? Hi, dear Ansu. Here is yours. Hello, dear Ashi. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Shuhua. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining, guys. Double tap on your screens. Come on. Hi, dear Tatum. Tatum is your name? What a unique name you have. Here is yours. Hi, dear Alice. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Taonga. Welcome back. How are you doing today? Here is a good name. Hi, dear Noshin. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Rita. Here is yours. Hi, dear Angela. Here is a beautiful name. It's not okay. So sorry. So, how to pronounce your name? Adam. Hi, dear Adam. Here is yours. It's kind of difficult for me. Hello, dear Mia. Here is yours. Hi, dear Hazem. What a unique name you have too, Hazem. Here is yours. Hello, dear Nasreen. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Kiara. Here is yours. Hello, dear Tato. Here is your sorry guys if I mispronounce anyone's name, so sorry in advance. Hi dear Angelina, here is yours. Hi dear Sacha, here is your good name. Oh yeah, literally nobody is liking the live. Just 28. I have wrote I think more than 50 plus names. Okay, guys, double tap on your screens and don't forget to double tapping. And don't forget to press the subscribe button there. Thank you. Hi, dear Yasmin. It is a beautiful name. Okay, focus. Hi, dear Gazwa. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Sauda. Here is yours. Hello, dear Alvaro. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Maylee. Here is yours. Hello, dear Nezuko. You are an anime lover. I am good. How about you, dear? Thank you for asking. What's a good name? Hi, dear Namir. Here is yours. Hi, dear Chahat. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Isha. Double E, right? Double E. Double ESH and A. Here is yours. Let's see who is next. Hi, dear Elise. Here is yours. Hi, dear Ayan. Here is your beautiful name. Hello, dear Usman. Here is yours. Okay, let's move to the Abby. Hi, dear Abby. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Abby. Here is yours. Hello, dear Zlata was done, but it's okay. Here is yours. Hi, dear Vedi is done though. It's okay, dear. Here is yours. Hi, dear George. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Aliswa. Here is yours. What a unique name you have. Dimi. Hello, dear Dimi. Here is yours. Hi, dear Newman. Here is your beautiful name. Double tap on your screens. Hi, dear Isma. Here is yours. Hello, dear Qasim. Here is a beautiful name. Thank you so much for joining. Let's see who is next. Hi, dear Sultan. Here is a good name. Thanks for subscribing. Hi, dear Maya. Here is yours. Hello, dear Delana. It is a good name. Hi, dear Sardak. Here is yours. Thank you for subscribing, dear Hareen. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Haya. Here is yours. Let's see who is next. Hi, dear Dia. Here is yours. Hello, dear Nero. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Halima. Here is yours. Hi, dear Abby. Here is your good name. Double tap on your screen. And let's see who's next. Samantha. Samantha. Hello, dear Samantha. Here is a good name. Thank you so much for joining. And Isla. Hi. Oh, welcome back. Hi, dear Isla. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Ikiria. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining again, dear. Lots of love. Hi, dear Kyra. Here is a good name. Thank you so much for subscribing. Oh, you're most welcome, dear. Thank you. Danny. Hello, dear Danny. Here is yours. Hi, dear Katya. Here is a beautiful name. Hello, dear Ahmed. Here is yours. Hi, Anurag. Welcome. Hello, dear Anurag. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Rabia. Here is yours. Hello, dear Isabelle. It is a good name. Hi, dear Anna. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Hello, dear Saddam. Here is yours. Hi, dear Han. Here is your. Just give me 1 minute. Tala. Okay, dear Tala. Here is yours. Hi. Hello, dear Krishna. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Antonia. Here is yours. Hi, dear Ace. It is a good name. Hello, dear Paige. How are you? Here is yours. Hi, dear Rayham. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Musa. Here is yours. Hi, dear Gabia. It is a good name. Hi, dear Abdullah. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, dear Vale. Here is yours. Hello, dear Abinaya. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Sime. Here is yours. Hello, dear Inaya. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Isabel. Another Isabel. Hi, how are you? Here is yours. Hello, dear Ruby. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Anaya. Here is yours. Hello, dear Rizwan. Here is a good name. Thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to double tap on your screens and let's see who is next. Hanu. Hi, dear Hanu. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Ines. Here is yours. Hello, dear Ruben. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Jaya. Here is yours. Hello, dear Pihu. Here's a good name. Hi, welcome. Hello, dear Avash. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Santiago. Is that Santiago? Here is yours. Hi, dear Rayhan. Here is your beautiful name. Hello, dear Zoya. Here is yours. Hi, dear girl. Jenny. Come on. Here is a beautiful name. Thank you, dear Blink. Hi, dear Myra. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Guada. What a unique name you have, guys. Double tap on your screens. Let's see who's gonna be the 67th liker. Reshma. Oh, sorry, Reshma. There are so many comments, so I didn't mean to ignore you. But here is a good name, dear Reshma. So sorry. Hi, dear Olivia. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Abby. Here is yours. Hello, dear Erican. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Freddy. Here is yours. Thank you so much. Hello, dear Ellen. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Angel. Here is yours. Hi, dear Shrisha. Here is your beautiful name. Thank you. Hi, dear Markin. Here is yours. Hello, dear Vabya. What a unique name you have, dear Vabya. Here is yours. Huh? Hi, Muslim. Hi, welcome back. But I don't understand the meaning of your comment. Third Firaga meaning? Hi, Sihaj. Welcome. It is a good name, dear cutie. How are you? Welcome back. Thank you so much. Hi, dear Kavya. Here is your beautiful name, Robin Rose. Hello, dear Robin and Rose. Here is yours. Hi, dear Ravza. Here is a good name. I Okay, let's write Blackpink for all the blinks. And after this, BTS for are the army. Oh, the army. 50 plus. Hi, welcome back. How are you? Hi, dear Barbie. Here is yours. Double tap on your screen. Let's see who's gonna be the. Oh, seventh liker. Hi, dear Mishra. Here is your good name. Vincenzo. Vincenzo. Here is yours. Hi, dear Ananya. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Lucky. Here is yours. Thank you so much, guys, for all the love and support. Hi, dear Dilasu. Here is your good name. Brother's name. Okay, Lisa. For you. Hi, dear Angel. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Double tap on your screens and don't forget to press that subscribe button. Let's see who is next. ISAIAH. Here is yours. Hi, I don't know if you are gonna see this because of first comment, but your voice is really relaxing. I love these streams. They are so cute. Thank you so much, dear. Lots of love. Thank you. Really appreciate your love and support, dear. Hi, dear Rose. Here is yours. Hello, dear Rehan. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Adele. Here is yours. Hello, dear Kushmeet. Here is your beautiful name. Thank you so much for understanding, guys. Hi. Okay, what's your brother's name? Dear Adele, here is yours. Hi, dear. Thank you so much, dear Adam. Hi, dear Ubad. Here is yours. Hello, dear Aisha. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Azrael. Here is yours. Hi, dear Bisma. Here is your beautiful name. Let's see who is next. Hi, dear Ali Raza. Here is yours. Hi, dear Harya. Here is yours. Double tap on your screens and don't forget to press the subscribe button. Hi, dear Samad. Oh, thank you so much. Hello, dear Karan. It is a good name. Pramudya is my husband's name. Okay, I am girl, not boy. Adam, you are girl? What's your good name? GK. Hi, dear GK. Here is yours. Hello, dear RC. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Mustafa. Here is yours. Hi, dear Apurva. Here is your beautiful name. Hello, dear Lucky. Here is yours. Hi, let's see who is next. Alonzo. Hello, dear Alonzo. Here is your beautiful name, Shelby. Okay. Hi, dear Shelby. Here is yours. Hi, dear Chasta. Here is your beautiful name. Hello, dear Jasim. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Double tap on your screens and don't forget to press the subscribe button. The weather is too hot today. And let's see who is next. Hi, dear Rebha. Hello, dear Rebha. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Elmi. Here is yours. Hi, dear Swara. Here is a beautiful name. Guys, what's the weather condition in your home place? Hi, dear Noman. Here is yours. Hello, dear Bilal. Here is yours. Hi, dear Rana. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Kavya. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Vivian. Hello, dear Vivian. Here is a good name. Sarah. Hello, dear. For you, dear Adam. Here is yours. Gold. Hi. Here is yours. Hi, dear Risa. Here is your beautiful name. Oh my god. Alvi, thank you so much, dear Alvi. Here is yours. You're most welcome. Thank you. Hi, dear Christ. Here is yours. Hello, dear Simran. Here is your good name. Hi, dear. I have been doing this. What's a good name? Emma. Okay, dear Emma, you want a screenshot of your beautiful name? Go for it now. I will always be here for you. Oh my god, thank you, dear. Lots of love. Hello, dear Ella. Here's a beautiful name. Hi, dear Gia. Here is yours. Hi, dear Savage. Here is your beautiful name. Hello, dear Amanda. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Hello, dear Citra. Here is your beautiful name. Faria and Zainab. Faria and Zainab for you, dear. Thank you so much. Hi, dear Lala. How are you? Hello, dear Lala. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Pari. Here is yours, Akshara. Hello, dear Akshara. Here is your beautiful name. Thank you so much for all the love and support, guys. Don't forget to press the subscribe button. Hi, dear Gia. Here is yours. Hi, dear Pradeep. How are you? Hi, Safu. Welcome back. You are a YouTuber too? What's your channel's name? Hi, dear Safu. Here is yours. Hello, dear Hanzala. It is a good name. Hi, dear Zoha. Here is yours. Hello, dear Hassan. It is a good name. Ali, and what was the second name? SURAA? Okay, this is for you. Dear Adriana, here is yours. Is this stream is lagging? Hi, dear Hiba. Here is yours. You want me to write I love you? Hi, dear Sabina. Here is yours. Hello, dear Sean. Here's a good name. Let me drink some water. Myra. Hello, dear. Here is yours. Hi, dear Fidelia. With I? With I. Here is your beautiful name. How are you? Hi, dear Esma. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Sasha. Here is yours. Hi, dear Razan. Here is your good name. Thank you. You're most welcome. Pradeep. Here is yours. Hi, dear Ayun. Here is yours. Hello, dear Zan. It is a good name. Hi, dear Pulkita. It is not R. Pulki. Pulkita. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Let's see who is next to Zan. Hello, dear Zan. It is a beautiful name. Bella, come here. Hi, dear Hanya. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Cherry. Let me tell her that I'm here. Okay, hi, dear Sonu. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Shraddha. Here is yours. Hello, dear Kanika. Here is your beautiful name. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hi, dear Musfira. Here is your beautiful name. Hello, dear Ella. Here is yours. Hi, dear Sidra. Here is your good name. Double tap on your screen and let's see who's gonna be the 87 lifer. Hi, dear Dia. Here is a good name. Come on. Hi, dear MCAT. Oh, wow. Welcome back, everyone. Uh, MCAT. Here is yours. Hi, dear Maestra. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Milka. Is yours. Oh, it's okay. You want to give me, but gifting is not available in my country, dear. So sorry. Hi, dear Aisha. Here is yours, but I really appreciate your love and support. Love you. Hi, you're most welcome. Hello, dear Isama. Here is your beautiful name. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, dear Maestra. I was done before, I think so. Here is yours. Hi, dear Jenny. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Ashish. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Hello, dear Molly. Here is yours. Hi, dear Noah. Here is yours. Hello, dear Rebha. If you want a screenshot of your name, you can watch my live later too. And your good name is done at 41. Guys, double tap on your screens. Come on. Double tap on your screens. Elvi. Welcome back, Elvi. How are you? You're most welcome, Mr. Chips. Mm-hmm. Hi, dear Flora. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Johnny. Here is yours. You literally want me to write Mr. Chips? Here is yours. Hi, dear Simon. Here is your beautiful name. Hello, dear Rose. Here is yours. Girl Rose. Hi, dear Amara. Here is your beautiful name. Amara with double M. Message Chips was done before. Just now. Let me check the spelling of Amara. Amara have two M. Hello, dear Amara. Here is your beautiful name. Thank you so much for joining, dear Amara. Hi, dear Deepak. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Zaha. Here is yours. Hello. Oh God, Bella, don't do this to me. Hello, dear Aleph. Just wait for a minute. Okay, let's see who is next. Taha. Hi, dear Taha. Here is a good name. Mr. Chips, अभी अभी लिखा था भाई just now. ताहा अभी मैंने लिखा था मैं फिर दोबारा लिखूंगी. Okay, let's try it. What's your name? Nangani. Wow, what a name. Here is yours. Where are you from, dear? You have such a unique name. Mr. Chips is very dangerous for me. Are you a student? Hello, dear Teely. Here is a good name. Mr. Chips is dangerous for every inter student or hi, dear Noah. Here is yours. Hello, dear Aria. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Angela. Here is yours. Double tap on your screens. Masha. I literally love the cartoons Masha and the bear. Here is a beautiful name, dear Masha. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Don't forget to double tap on your screens. We are so close to 100. Hi, Moon. Hello, dear Nabila. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Ukasha. Here is yours. You're most welcome. Hi, dear Diana. Here's a good name. Hello, dear Dottie. It is yours. Hi, Amal Bhai, are you here? Who's saying, ma'am, I am here now? Ah, yeah. Hello, dear Amal Bhai, how are you? You're from Pakistan. Good to know. Hi, dear Evelyn. Here is yours. Hi, dear Yunju. Here is your good name, Yunju. You are Indian. So good to have you here too. Thank you. Hi, dear Irha. Here is yours. Welcome back. You and your unique names. Hi, dear Samir. How are you? Hello, dear Maham. Here is your beautiful name. My name is Ishal. Okay, let's write Jisoo. Here is yours. Hi, dear Jovan. Mm-hmm. Hi, dear Ronak. Here is yours. दो कर रहे हैं अभी तक लाइक नहीं कर रहे देखो 100 कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ है अभी तक हमारा guys double tap on your screens and don't forget to press the subscribe button. Hi dear Gamma, here is yours. Akib. Who is saying Akib? Hello dear Akib, here is your beautiful name. One more. Let's see who is next. Hi dear Amen, here is yours. Hi dear Apu, here is your beautiful name. Hi, it's pronounced Gemma. Oh, thank you so much for correcting me. Thank you, dear. Hi, Gemma. Here, Misha. Here is yours. Hello, dear Felina. Here is yours. Hi, dear. I don't know. Lakshmi. Hi, dear Lakshmi. Here is yours. Hi, dear Tadeo. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Lamia. Here is a beautiful name. Blackpink was done, and BTS were done. BTS is also done. Blackpink is also done. Uh, Please don't mind. I cannot understand English full. It's okay, dear. So, which language do you understand better? Hi, dear Samia. Here is yours. Hello, dear Jelly. Jiggly Jelly. Here is yours. Thank you so much for subscribing. Hi, dear Shania. Here is a good name. कौन सी लैंग्वेज में आप कंफर्टेबल हैं वो बोलें. Hi, dear Navsa. Here is yours. कहो. Yes. Uh, एक मिनट. Mehreen. Hi, dear Mehreen. How are you? Here is yours. क्या लिखा है मोल भाई. अब मोड वाली आईडी से क्यों नहीं आते हो ऐसे मुझे ढूंढना पड़ता है आपका कमेंट मुझे मिल भी नहीं रहा है ऊपर से अब मिस हो गया अब मुझे नहीं मिल रहा मैंने काफ़ी पीछे जाकर देखा है. You can understand Urdu. Oh, good to hear. Oh, अच्छा लगा सुन के. Here is yours. Bro, I miss you. Are you Bano? No, Adam. Miss you too. Thank you so much. I thought that you are Bano. Hi, dear Kaden. Here is yours. Okay, let's write for you, dear Blink again, Blackpink. Yes, I am. Alhamdulillah. हाँ तो ये आपका कमेंट था या फिर इनका कमेंट था कोई बात नहीं जिसका भी था अच्छी बात है जिसको उर्दू समझ आती है. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर ज्वाइनिंग एवरीवन. हाँ आपकी वॉइस मेरी सिस्टर की तरह है. बहन ही समझो मुझे भी आप अपनी. चलिए मैं नाम लिखना देख लो भूल जाती हूँ जैसे ही मैं. Hi dear Regina, here is yours. Hi dear Malika, here is your good name. आपकी सिस्टर का नाम है अलीना. Alina. Here is yours. You are Pakistani. Good to hear. Hi, Tushu. Here is your. Walaikum assalam. Huria. Hi, dear Huria. Here is your beautiful name. कौन है ये खतीजा जी वालेकुम सलाम. मोहसिन भाई इधर ही हैं, हाजिक भाई अभी नहीं आए. Hello dear Anna, here is your shukran habibi. Hello dear Harry Grun. Wow, what a unique name you have, dear Harry Grun. Here is yours. Let's see who is next. Hi dear Ari. Here is yours. रुको क्या लिखा आपने मैम? AK67 of course. Hello dear Maya. Here is yours. Hi dear Fahima. Here is your beautiful name. Hello dear Ruth. How are you? ये होता है फिर जब मैं बात करने लग जाऊँ, इसलिए फिर मैं कम उर्दू बोलती हूँ या फिर हिंदी. Hi dear Rui, here is yours. Thank you, you're most welcome. Hi dear Nelia, here is a good name. समझ आया ना, है ना? अभी मैंने किस बारे में बात की थी? Hi dear Manu, here is yours. Hello dear, long time no see. Hi, Jisoo. Hi dear Shahina, here is yours. Hello, dear Rami. Here is your beautiful name. Let's see who is next. Hello, dear. Okay. Tatevshame. For you, dear Agam. Hi, Agam. Agam. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Guys, double tap on your screens and don't forget to press the subscribe button. Hello, dear Agam. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Abha. Here is yours. Hello, dear Darwin. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Elena. Here is yours. Hi, dear. अरे यार, Sadia. Hello, Sadia. Welcome. अमोल भाई पता नहीं मेरी सच में आई साइड इतनी वीक हो गई कि मुझे कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा था, नजर नहीं आ रहा था. Yeah, okay, let's back to the next name, Selena. Hello, dear Selena. Here is yours. Hi, dear John. It is a good name. Hi, dear Vilmar. Thank you so much for subscribing, dear Vilmar. Here is yours. Hi, dear Cake. Here is yours. आज हमने क्वेश्चन नहीं डाला है ना? नहीं, हाजिब भाई नहीं आए अभी. Hi, dear Noor. Here is yours. मैम, कमेंट जल्दी जल्दी आते हैं ना तो कभी कभी ऐसा लगता है. हाँ सच में मुझे लगता है वो समझ में नहीं आ रहा. Hi dear Simran, here is a good name. रुको मुझे इस फ़ोन की भी थोड़ी सी बढ़ा लेने दो. Okay. Hi dear Rafif, here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Ifat. Hello dear Ifat, here is your beautiful name. Don't call me Adam, I am Hawa. Oh, okay, Hawa. Hawa. Hello dear Sydney, here is yours. क्या? अगर वीक होगी नज़दीक नहीं होनी. हैं? क्या मतलब? Hi dear Jayon, here is yours. Hello dear Alu. Here is a good name. My name is Hussein. Hello dear Hussein. Here is a good name. Hi dear Amsiyar. Here is yours. Hi dear Hira. Here is a beautiful name. Hello dear Hola. Here is yours. हेलो नज़दीक वाली नहीं दूर वाली हाँ दूर वाली तो मेरी पहले भी थोड़ी सी थी भी लाइक 0.50 समथिंग बट अब लगता है ज़्यादा हो गई है शायद JN Armenian name JN wow what a beautiful name you have you are Turkish hi dear Reef here is yours hello dear Clara here is a good name hi dear Eva here is yours I love Jenny. Come on, guys, double tap on your screens. Hi, dear Rahmat, here is yours. Do me Coral. Hi, dear Coral, here is yours. वाह क्या बात बोली है अमोल भाई यही तो मैं आपसे पहले भी पूछ रही थी ना तब किसी ने मुझे बताया नहीं था चलें करते हैं अब लो Hello, dear Rashi. Here is yours, Purvika from Tamil Nadu. Hi, dear Purvika. Here is your beautiful name. Hello, dear Karen. Here is yours. Hi, dear Khaled. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Rash. Here is yours. Who is my favorite Blackpink member? Jenny. And Jisa too. Hi, dear Annan. Here is yours. Hi, dear Subhan. Here is your beautiful name. Hello, dear Fatima. Here is yours. Jump, Jenny. Just get in the car. Hi, dear Raddy. Here is your beautiful name. Hello, dear Jenna. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Don't forget to minus Rose. Aha. I like Rose too. I think all of them. Hi, dear Ghost. And I like Lisa too. I don't know who is my favorite for audience अगर तक जाती हैं stamina bro no pain no gain है ना ये देखो जैसे स्लो होता ना तो फिर यही होता है भाई joy it is yours guys double tap on your screens and don't forget to press the subscribe button let me drink some water and stay hydrated Elena hi Zubga ji Walaikum Assalam Hello, dear Yvonne. Here is yours. Hannah? Hi, dear Fadil. Here is a good name. रुको ज़रा पढ़ूँ आपका comment मैम. पोस्टर सभी वेट बॉक्सर थे लेकिन थक दूसरे जाते स्पीड अली की थी है ना चलिए मोटिवेशन मिली हमें ताज़ी ताज़ी मौसम भाई से Hello dear Abby here is yours Hi dear Rain here is a good name Hi dear Louis here is a beautiful name मासी जी भी आजकल बहुत महंगी हैं बहुत कम आती हैं Hi, dear Diksha. It is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Sai. Here is yours. Hi, Nidhi. Welcome back. How are you? Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Lena. Here is yours. Hello, dear Annan. Here is a beautiful name. Hello, dear Lily. Here is yours. Hi, dear Noon. नूर नूर ईशु जी, मैं अभी भी किचन में हूँ, अभी भी आटा गूंदा साथ साथ रखा हुआ बनने के लिए। इतनी रात को लैला लैला नहीं लिखा आज मैंने। अरे मेरी आवाज़ इतनी ख़राब है, मैं किससे गाऊँ भाई गाना। Hi dear Tanya, here is a good name. Hi dear Rudra, here is yours. Hello dear Ratel. Okay, now in caps. Hi dear Shah, here is a good name. I meant Ryla. Here is your. अच्छा मुझे याद ही नहीं है कि दोपहर में क्या बात हुई है मेरी मुस्लिम भाई आपसे। Assalamu alaikum. Right, my name is Alia, please. Wa alaikum assalam. Dear Alia, here is yours. Hi, dear Pasley. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Lilian. Here is yours. Hey. Okay, ignore the. अब मैं आप लोगों के कमेंट नहीं पढ़ूंगी, खतीजा, मोहसिन भाई और अमल भाई, ठीक है? फोकस डाइवर्ट हो रहा है। Hello, dear Elizabeth. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Ahmed. Here is yours. Ahmed, are you from Turkey? Hello, dear Ashley. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear uh, Ishana. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, ठीक है. Take care. हमें भी थोड़ा सा खाना भेज दीजिए सिबका जी, आइसक्रीम खानी है मैंने, कोई आइसक्रीम भेज दे। अभी अभी लेके फ्रिज में रखी है लेकिन खाई नहीं है अभी तक, बाद में खाएंगे। Hi dear Weil, here is yours. How did you know? Are you from really are you really from Turkey? Hi dear Larry, here is yours. Hi dear Amira, here is your beautiful name. I don't sing. I don't know how to sing, dear. Hello, dear Clara. Here is yours. Thank you. You're most welcome. Clara, I love this name. Bandita. Hello, dear Bandita. Here is yours. Yeah, Mulbhai, she is there for the last 5 minutes, I think. Hi, dear Kajal. Here is yours. Hi, dear Fadel. Please don't use too much emojis, dear. Hi, dear Ryan. Here is yours. Hello, dear Elena. Here's a good name. Hi, dear Alicia. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining, and don't forget to press the bell icon. मासी जी भाग गई हैं। क्या बात बोली है मौसम भाई। Hi, dear Sad. Here's a good name. देखो मैंने सोचा था आज भी हम 2 घंटे की स्ट्रीम करेंगे, but see, we are stuck on 127. मोटिवेशन गिर जाता है मेरा। नहीं, वो समझ रही थी, आपने उनको इग्नोर किया है पहले, अमल भाई। Hi dear Neelam, here is yours. Hi, dear. Huh? Sitra. It is a beautiful name. Hello, dear Asila. Here is yours. Hi, dear Alice. Alice was done. Here is yours. Hi, dear Zahara. Here is a beautiful name. Hello. Okay, Lucy. अरे यार मेरा सिर घूम रहा है खदीजा जी हाजिर भाई के बगैर नहीं उनका दिल ही नहीं लगता वो चली जाती हैं हाय फरहान here is yours thank you so much for joining guys double tap on your screens यह समार कर लेते हैं हम भी ऐसे एस वाला रुको मैं करके दिखाती हूँ एस वाला इतने मजे का आता है ना आजकल मैं बड़ा देख रही हूँ Hi dear Varus, here is a good name. Hello dear Al इधर से देख लेती हूँ Al-Rimvi. Here is yours. ठंडे पानी में डुबकी लगाओ फ्रेश हो जाना है अभी बीच में से उठ के कैसे जाऊँ Hello dear Alif, here is yours. रोज ना हो फिर वही हाल हो जाता है पसीने से हाँ Hello dear क्या नाम था ARI Here is yours. Oh, मैंने भी खानी है बिरयानी. Hi dear Mia. मेरी favorite dish मुझे ही नहीं पूछा है देखो. Hello dear Lona. Here is yours. Hi dear Main. It is a good name. Hi dear Navya. Naiv. Let me check the spelling. N-A किधर गया Naevia Here is yours. Thank you so much for subscribing, guys. Don't forget to double tap on your screens and let's see who is next. Nux. Hi, dear Nux. Here is yours. Hello, dear Livia. Here's a good name. You're most welcome, dear Navia. I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name. Symbol. Hello, dear Symbol. Here is yours. Hi, dear Karthik. Here is a beautiful name. कह रही है जा रही हूँ ठूसने Okay, enjoy your meal. Hi, dear Prayu. Here is yours. Hello, dear Alia. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Lala. Here is yours. Hi, dear On. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Noemi. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. मैंने अब नोटिस किया मेरा हाथ कितना चौड़ा चौड़ा लग रहा है बड़ा बड़ा I am doing for Karthik. Karthik is हमने क्या बहना अभी भी लिखा था Hi, dear Umar. Here. कौन सा क्वेश्चन पूछा है आपने नित्या पता है क्या है मेरे ना गर्मी लगती है तो इस वजह से ना मेरे से कमेंट्स मिस हो रहे हैं खासतौर पे जो क्वेश्चन वाले लंबे लंबे कमेंट्स हैं ना वो सिर्फ दोपहर में 1 घंटे के करीब लास्ट मिस होना चाहिए ज़्यादा नहीं आप एकदम फ्रेश हो जाओ कि मेमोरी भी रिफ्रेश हो मेरे पास 1 मिनट का टाइम भी नहीं होता है भाई इधर से ख़त्म करके मुझे बहुत ज़रूरी काम करना होता है कोचिंग का आपको पता ही है Higher Minsa, here is yours. उधर से 6:30 बजे फ्री होते हैं या कभी कभी सिर्फ 5 मिनट पहले और 5 मिनट का रेस्ट डायरेक्ट इधर तो ये तो लाइफ चल रही है बिजी और आजकल एग्जाम्स भी चल रहे हैं तो इस वजह से ज़रा ज़्यादा ही दिमाग घूमा है मेरा उधर भी बोलना ही है, इधर भी, इस वजह से थोड़ा ज़्यादा हीट हो गया है मेरा माइंड। सो अगर किसी के कमेंट में सो रहे हैं तो सॉरी गाइस। और स्ट्रीम लैग हो गई है हो गई है लैग। चलिए, हाय डियर शोभा, हियर इज ए गुड नेम। हैं, आपका नाम इशाल है? क्या लिखा है ये भाई? Lion, hello dear Lion, here is a good name. Hi dear Romeo, no I don't listen Stray Kids. Time नहीं मिलता, I don't have time, my schedule is so busy dear. Most welcome. Hi dear Murtaza, here is yours. Hello dear Sammy, here's a good name. Oh अच्छा अच्छा क्या लिखा, इसलिए गुस्सा होते हैं कभी कभी। मेरा भी यही हाल है। कुछ दिन पहले हर कोई कब गुस्सा होती हूँ मैं? मुझे देखा है गुस्सा होते हुए, लाइफ में आके तो मेरा मूड अच्छा होता है। मैं तो नहीं गुस्सा होती, बस थक जाती हूँ कभी कभी, तो इसलिए फिर जरा कम बात करती हूँ। Guys, double tap on your screens and don't forget to press the subscribe button. पता क्या है, मेरी ना आइसक्रीम फ्रिज में पड़ी हुई है और मेरा दिल कर रहा है कि मैं वो खा लूँ, बट कोई बात नहीं, फोकस करना चाहिए। बाद में खा लेंगे भाई। हाय पार्कर, वेलकम। कोई और नहीं खाएगा, इतना मुझे पता है। हाय डियर वाजिया, हियर इज ए गुड नेम। हाय डियर सुभान, हियर इज योर्स। कह रहे होंगे सारे कितनी भूखी, आइसक्रीम को खाने का पड़ा है, हमारा नाम नहीं लिख रही। अरे अरे, इन्हीं को तो मैंने आंसर दिया था यार। Hi dear Elena, here is yours. Okay, now I am mute. मैं कोई बात नहीं करी। कार्तिक हो गया। ओ संजय जी, वेलकम बैक। आइए आइए, क्या हाल है आपके? मेरे से गुड नेम। Hi dear Ursulan. आपने तो अर्सालन लिखा हुआ है भाई। पता नहीं मैं क्यों फालतू में हंस रही हूँ। Hello dear Ursulan, here is a good name. ये कौन अच्छा बंदा है जो इधर से हार्ट पे कमेंट वो कर रहा है, टैप कर रहा है? I literally love you, really love you. Hi dear Suri, here is yours. जो भी कर रहा था ना, thank you. Hi dear Ellen, here is yours. Hi dear Victoria, here is a good name. मैं नहीं दिखा, आपका ही तो नाम लिखा मैंने संजय जी, क्या हो गया है? Hi dear Alex, here is a good name. संजय जी, आपको पता है मैंने टर्किश के कुछ फ्रेजेस सीखे हैं, क्या आपको मैं बोल के दिखाऊं? हाय डियर एलन, मैं आपको नहीं, मैं नहीं बोल के दिखाऊंगी, आप मजाक ही उड़ाओगे भाई। एलन, here is yours. Okay, let's see who is next. Hi dear Rabia, here is yours. ये वाला असल पेशेंस होता है, मैं तो नहीं कर सकता ऐसा सफर, हाँ ना? हैं? Hello dear Janet, here is a beautiful name. Grace, hi dear Grace. Thank you so much dear, love you. Hi dear Anya, here is a good name. Hi dear Song, here is yours. Hi, who's saying Titanic? Hello dear Krisha, here is a beautiful name. Hi dear Samya, here is yours. Hello dear Rujal, here is a beautiful name. Guys, double tap on your screens. दादी मेरे लक्षण, लक्षण क्या होता है? What is the meaning of लक्षण? Legacy. Here is yours. Hi dear Alco, here is a good name. Hi dear Sahed. Here is yours. Hi dear Alan, here is your beautiful name. Amul bhai, are you here? Please write your name. Here is mine. हाजिर भाई की बात याद आ जाती है कि मैं इसको 7 scream not yet. What's the story? Hi dear Asya, here is yours. Hello dear buddy. Here is a good name. What is the question of yours, dear Blink? I don't want to ignore, but hi dear Marl, I'm so sorry if you feel that way. मतलब मेरे गुण दिख रहे हैं? नहीं, कौन से गुण? Ishal. Hello dear Ishal. Here is yours. Hi dear Radit. Here is a good name. मेरा नाम इशाल है, मैंने अभी अभी अपना ही लिखा था. Hi dear Ben. Here is yours. Hello dear Freyden. Here is a good name. Hi dear Ahmed. Here is yours. Hi dear Asma. Here is yours. BSMT. BSMNT. Let's see who is next. Hi dear Wahbi. Here is yours. ये मैं नहीं, लाइव के लोग बोल रहे हैं. कौन से? लक्षण क्या होता है ना? गुण दिख रहे हैं मतलब इजी वर्डिंग में बोलो भाई. मुझे हिंदी आती है लेकिन इतनी भी अच्छी नहीं आती कि ये वाला समझ में आए आपकी बात. Hey dear AB, here is yours. Hi dear Rose, here is a good name. Hello dear Nidal. Here is yours, please. Yes. What is yours, guys? Double tap on your screen. Come on. कितनी अभी तक हम 139. We are literally stuck on 139. Can we make it 150 at least? 50. अच्छा बीच में कुछ लिखा ही नहीं हुआ मैंने, देखो. Maya. Hi dear Maya. Here is yours. Kicker. For real? I don't think so, dear Rabel. My name is Ishal too. Hi dear Jeetal. Here is yours. Hi dear. I had a bad day at school. What's your name? What's your name, dear? Max. Don't worry. Here is your beautiful name. दीदी मेरा नेट हो गया था. आई एम फरहान. फिर से लिख दो. ओह वेलकम बैक फरहान. सीख लो. सीखा तो रहा हूँ ना, मुझे इंग्लिश में बात करना पसंद नहीं. क्या सिखा रहे हैं भाई, मुझे समझ में नहीं आया आपने क्या लिखा. हेलो डियर दिया. Here is yours. Let me write Farhan again. Here is yours. अल्लाह बख्श. इतना अच्छा नाम है आपका. अल्लाह ताला सबको बख्श दे भाई, हम सबको बख्श दे. Here is yours. अरे क्या ही किया ये. हाँ अब ठीक है. My name is Salish. Hi dear Salish. Here is your beautiful name. Hi dear Vile. Here is yours. Hello dear. सिर्फ आपके नाम का मतलब है जन्नत का फूल, सुलगाना या रोशन. सुलगाना क्या होता है? जन्नत का फूल मतलब है. Hi dear Anaya, here is yours. Hello dear Ironica. Here is a good name. Hello dear Logan, here is yours. Hi dear Zaina, here is your beautiful name. Hi dear Urvish. Here is yours. क्या लिखा है? Milo. Okay, Milo. फिर दिल तो करा इस बात पे मैं आपको टाइम आउट दे दूं संजय जी, जो आपने अभी बोला है। मुझे नहीं बनना बाओ बाओ भाऊ। हाय डियर रोहित, देख लो भाई आपने डिस्ट्रैक्ट कर दिया है। हेलो डियर रोहित, हियर इज अ गुड नेम प्लीज। क्या नाम है आपका यार? संजय जी, टाइम आउट दे दूंगी मैं आपको। चीनी भाई, दोबारा मत बोलना ये जो भी बोला था आपने। Hi dear Milo, here is yours। आयजा का कुछ पता भी है वो कहाँ पे है वो? Hi dear Sarah, here is yours। Hello dear Shiza, here is a good name। Hi dear 7 crore। Hi dear Abin, here is yours। Double tap on your screens and don't forget to press the subscribe button। Double tap on your screens, double tap on your screens। How are you today? I am doing good. What about you, dear? Natalia, welcome back. Natalia, I remember your name. And the second one is, I forgot the second one as usual. Can you tell the second name? Mach? What was the spelling? Mach? Oh, welcome back. Thank you, madam, for considering my name. You're most welcome, sir. Thank you. Hope you are having a good day. Thank you so much. Good day to you too. And I am looking for the Natalia comment, but Natalia, where are you? सिर्फ हमारी यूनिक है, दूसरा लड़का के पास मुझे भी कहते हैं कि सेम टू सेम। क्या बात बोलिए? माय नाम ओह हाँ, हाय हवा, वेलकम बैक। अब मैं वेट कर रही हूँ नतालिया के कमेंट का, बट नतालिया पता नहीं किधर चली गई है। अब हम क्या करें, फिर लिख देते हैं खुद से ही। Hi dear Ethan, here is a good name। Thank you so much for your patience, guys। Hi dear Shams, here is yours। Hi dear Banu, here is a beautiful name। Hi dear Golu, Golu Molu। किसकी तरह पढ़ा है? पता है आपको, मुझे पश्तो सीखने का बड़ा शौक है, लेकिन है थोड़ी हार्ड। इट्स हार्ड टू लर्न। Alia, hello dear Alia, here is yours। My bird name is Cloudy, and I had a bird called Rose, but she died। Can you write their names? Cloudy and Rose। So sad to hear, dear। Cloudy and Rose. Okay. For you guys, double tap on your screens, and Reham, please, I have to show it। Okay, Reham, here is yours। हाँ, strange। आपको आती है ना? आप भी तो पठान हो भाई। Hello dear Zad, here is yours। Hi dear Gael, here is a good name। Thank you so much for joining। Are you from Uzbekistan? I am Ishal. Everyone call me Isha and Mano। Okay, dear Mano। Hello, dear Arohi. Here is a beautiful name। Have to mute। Hi, dear Kian. Welcome back. Guys, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello, dear Ayan. Here is a beautiful name. Thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's see who's next. Why, God. Here is yours. यस वी कैन ओके मैम मुझे लगा कि लाइव एंड हो चुका है और मैंने सोच रहा था लाइव के कमेंट में जाके बोलूँगा कि कितनी जल्दी एंड कर दिया देख लें फिर हमने नहीं किया अभी तक हम आपका वेट कर रहे थे कब हमारे प्यारे से मॉडरेटर आएंगे फिर वो उसके बाद हम करेंगे हेलो डियर जमरे मरहबा नसासन imzalara hoş geldiniz iyi günler. Oh, literally? You broke up with Muslim Bhai? Hi dear Haram, here is yours. आ चुका हूँ एंड कर दो मैं 6-7 करके जाते हैं कि नहीं 167 करके नहीं double tap on your screen guys Romesa hello dear Romesa here is yours thank you so much dear Hawa now I remember your name. Hi, dear Samya. Here is yours. Hello, dear. Are you? Don't forget to like and subscribe and don't be angry. Here is yours. Hello, dear Erna. Here is yours. Hmm. आपके भी उधर क्या स्मार्ट लॉकडाउन है हाय डियर जैम रहे अरे मैंने इतनी अच्छी टर्किश बोली थी अभी अभी merhaba nasılsın İnsanlara hoş geldiniz. And how to say in günler. Teşekkür ederim. Hello dear Farhan, here is yours. Let's see who is next. Don't use these type of emojis. I am doing good. How about you? Yeah, I am feeling night right because he finds all the like जैसे आपने ढूंढ लिए थे है ना मेरे राइट जैसे मैं आपको बोलती थी बहुत बिजी हो आजकल आप भी Here is yours अब पता चला ना मोहसिन भाई कैसा फील होता है Hi dear Zahra here is yours Hi dear Yogi this is a good name Hi dear Madden here is yours Hello dear Evelina here is a good name Hi dear Badal here is yours Thank you so much for joining. Hi, dear Mahedi. Here is a good name. Oh, it's Anuria. Thank you so much, dear Natalia. You know, I have heard your name before, but I forgot the spelling of Michael. So I have been waiting for you, but I think you didn't notice, but it's okay. Hello, dear Kashvi. Here's a good name. Thank you so much for subscribing, everyone. And let's see who is next. Summer was first time I talked first time in your stream, and Masuji is first girl, and I talked first, and your live is first live I have ever joined. But I feel alone. Why are you feeling alone? Do you speak in Russian? No, not yet. Hi, dear Mukesh. Here is yours. Are you from Russia? Could you please teach me some phrases in Russia like hi? How to say hi in Russian language? Hi, dear Rehona. Here is yours. Good day. Hello, dear Atmia. Here is yours, Maya. Why not, dear Maya? Here is yours. Hi, JB. Welcome. Oh, can you guys hear me now? George. Hello, dear George. Here is yours. Hi, dear Marybon. How are you? Merhaba. Nasılsın? İnsanlara hoş geldiniz. And teşekkür ederim. Hi, Sapet. How are you? Here is yours. Hi, dear Farhan. Here's a good name. Sapet. Hello, dear Sapet. Here's a good name. Hadi. Here is yours. Hello, dear Zohre. Uzbekistan. You are from Uzbekistan. Good to hear. Hello, dear. Oh, I forgot what I was about to write. Zan or Zohre? Hi, dear Zohre. Here is yours. Hello, dear Erina. Here is a good name. Because all finds there may be 10x better than me, and I'm not sad I am. That's why I never leave your life. Same condition. Hi, dear Daniel. Here is yours. Okay, Uzbekistan. Here is a beautiful country's name. Hi, Stefanos. How are you? Sad, I don't know what to say to you, but I don't know what to say about it. It's okay. Feel free to say anything. Dear Sad. It is a good name. Thank you so much for joining. Let me rewrite your name. I have must. And let's see who is next. Oh my god. 6-7. 6-7 for you, dear. Hi, Sonia. Welcome. How are you? Here is a good name. Hello, dear Clara. Here is yours. Hi, dear Esila. Here's a good name. Hi, dear Emma. Here is yours. Hello, dear Lavi. Here is a good name. Let me drink some water. Mere, अरे Hello. Purple. अदीबा जी वेलकम बैक. मैं आपकी Q&A वीडियो कब से वेट कर रही हूँ. कब आ रही है दीपा जी Q&A वीडियो? इतना इंतजार तो मैंने नहीं करवाया था, आपने मुझे करवा दिया। Here is a beautiful name, dear cutie pie. Welcome back. वो मैंने वहाँ पे रोका हुआ था कि मुझे पढ़ना था कमेंट, बट मैंने मिस कर दिया है। मौसम भाई आपका कमेंट। रिद्धि, ओके रिद्धि, व्हाई नॉट आफ्टर दिस। हाय सिस, मुझे तो आपका और मौसी जी का अल्टरनेटिव नहीं मिला। आपको मिल गया था ना, है ना? इसलिए तो गायब थे इतने दिनों से। अच्छा मैं क्या लिखने लगी थी, मुझे भूल गया है, देखो। अलीजा, चलो नीचे आते हैं। Sayam, hi dear Sayam, here is a good name. Hi dear Sophia, here is yours. रिद्धि लिखना था मैंने, याद आया मुझे। Hello dear Riddhi, here is yours. Hi dear Hamza, here is your beautiful name. Hi dear Harry, here is yours. Hi dear Ishal, here is a good name. Hi dear Javeria, here is yours. Guys, double tap on your screens and don't forget to press the subscribe button. Hi dear Alexa, here is your good name. Hi, welcome. Hi Zad, walaikum assalam. Hello dear Raya, here is yours. Hello dear Yusuf, here is your beautiful name. Hi dear Smriti, here is yours. Hello dear Lara, here is a good name. Hi dear Mano, here is yours. Hi dear Faris, here is a beautiful name. Double tap on screens. Hello dear Will, here is yours. Hi dear Evie, here is a beautiful name. क्या वो पता है क्या हुआ है, फास्ट फास्ट आ रहे हैं तो फिर अभी मैं लिख रही हूँ तो फिर मेरे से मिस हो गया। दीबा जी, हाय डियर एली। मौसम भाई अगर आपने इनका कमेंट देखा है तो रिप्लाई कर दें प्लीज। हाय डियर नूर, हियर इज योर्स। हेलो डियर पलक, इट इज अ गुड नेम। Hi dear Pihu, here is yours. Double tap on your screen guys. Hello dear Emma, here is yours. Hello dear Johan, here's a good name. Hi dear Wahab, here is yours. Hello dear Mary, here is your beautiful name. Thank you, you're most welcome. Hi dear Ishan, here is yours. Hello dear Arfa, here is your beautiful name. Hi dear Grace, here is yours. Hi Cassandra, welcome back dear Cassandra. Long time no see. It is a beautiful name. Thank you so much for joining again. Hi dear Mimi. Hello dear Kang. Here is your beautiful name. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, you're most welcome dear. Thank you. Hello dear. Here is yours. Lagging? Lagging, lagging, lagging. Hi dear Nida. Here is yours. Lucretia. What a unique name you have, dear Lucretia. Let me check the spelling. Mozim bhai, अभी भी लैग कर रही है क्या? मुझे यहाँ पे है नहीं, मुझे लगता है, वरना बता देते हैं ना. Hi dear, I see you. Your dad is not here, man. घर में ढूंढो. यही कहा है. वेट बोलता हूँ. मैंने तो बिजी हूँ स्टडी के लिए, सो आज फ्री टाइम मिला. आज का एक्स्ट्रा वीडियो एडिट कर रही हूँ एंड Q&A वीडियो मम्मी के मोबाइल से बनाऊंगी अभी. प्रतिभा जी जल्दी. लैगिंग सुपर लैगिंग ये. देखो मैं लैगिंग को भी इंजॉय करने लगी हूँ अब, क्योंकि नेटवर्क ख़राब करने से अपना मूड ख़राब करोगे तो क्या ही हो जाएगा. कौन सा कोई नेटवर्क ठीक हो जाएगा, तो इसलिए. Oh, you are from Turkey. Dear Esenur, merhaba. लो, अब मैंने इतना बोलते फिर भी स्पेलिंग ठीक नहीं लिखी. AYSENUR. Merhaba, nasılsın? İyiyim Zara, hoş geldiniz. İyi günler. Teşekkür ederim. Lots of love. अभी भी वो हो रही है ना लैगिंग. मीज़ा. हाय डियर मीज़ा, हाउ आर यू? फिर एंड कर देंगे स्ट्रीम को. की करिए Ana Julia, nasılsın? Sen nasılsın? teşekkür ederim. सिर्फ हम भी अपने गम को एंजॉय करते हैं जो मिलता है. इसलिए यही बात के कौन सा गम दे दिया मैंने आपको. Hi dear Anna, here is your good name. निशान जो इतनी ज़्यादा नहीं आती अभी मुझे little. I just know a little of Turkish language, which I have told you before. Teşekkür ederim. Nasılsın? Allah. Hello dear Eloina, here is yours. क्या मेरी आवाज़ भी आ रही है? I love you. Goodbye. Gule. Says bye. I'm going to meet other abusing is very. मम्मा से पढ़ी है क्या? Thanks for making my name of the video. Oh, it's okay, dear Maja. And now we are going to end the stream because the stream is super lagging and network is not networking. So we have to end the stream. Start भी हमने माजा से किया था, एंड भी हम माजा से ही कर रहे हैं. मैम आवाज़ भी बीच में अटक रहा है. कोई गल नहीं, अटक दो फिर. तुम चलने सी अपना बहुत सारा ख्याल रखना. तुसी अल्ट्रा प्रो मैक्स लैगिंग इंजॉय करते करते जाएंगे हम भी लैगिंग को. 5 minutes. It's lagging badly, so that's why I have to end the stream. It's okay guys, in the next stream for sure. Those who Mira, hi dear Mira, it is yours. Oh my god, it's so lagging so badly. Okay, अब देखते हैं क्या अब ठीक हुआ. But why? I don't know, cause of the network issue maybe. Hi dear Ethan, here is yours. Hello dear Sirat, here is a good name. No, yeah. अब ठीक हुई है या नहीं बताओ अमोल भाई, थोड़ा सा बता दें. अरे नहीं ना, लैग कर रही है अभी भी या फिर ठीक हो गई है अभी भी? क्या बोल रही हो तुम भाई. चलो जी, हम चलते हैं. ठीक है, लैग तो वो कर ही रही है ना. मैं लैग है ना, लैग कर रही है. चलो लास्ट नेम लिख देते हैं और चलते हैं. Okay, guys, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for everything, and thanks for commenting your name here. Lots of love you all. Essay. Bye. See you tomorrow.